How's it going, people? Welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while. It's been a long while, to be honest. The longest I've been off the channel since I got it started about a year and a half ago. And obviously it's down to the coronavirus, the lockdown. Most of the world right now has been locked down, shut down, and there's not much football news or real news for me to talk about. In my opinion, obviously I'm just a regular match going fan that wants to and gives his opinion on Arsenal Football Club and some other matters in the football world. But obviously, due to circumstances, much more important issues across the world, football has come to a halt, as well as most other sports, most other countries, like I said, most other businesses, most other industries, full stop. It's a mad time to be alive. It's a big moment in history. I mean, in years to come, the impact this will have on people, on the economy, it's going to be wrote about, read about, analysed, and there's going to be a lot of judgment out there on the way it's been handled, on not only our government's part, the way the US government handled it, the way the Chinese government have handled it, the way Europe as a whole have handled it. Does Brexit have anything to do with the UK's slow response? There's many things to talk about in the near future. Hopefully we can get over this. I've got some controversial opinions on coronavirus and the not only the impact but general opinions about it and where we're headed, but we'll leave that for another day and possibly a Q&A. Obviously, like I said, I'm a football man, so I'm here back to talk about football. Before we get into that, what I've been up to, why I've been quiet, because like I said, it's lockdown, and I know this has given other people opportunity to produce more content, to get out there a lot more. And listen, everyone's at home, so I guess for YouTube and for subscribers, all you lot want to see is more and more videos being pumped out. So apologies if you have missed my content. If you have missed my content, let me know in the comments below that what you want to see from me during this time. Because I don't believe a lot of the transfer rumours going around. I don't believe them in general, let alone transfer rumours going around during a coronavirus lockdown, where Arsenal are as tight as we are anyway. We're going to have to be even tighter, and understandably so. There's transfer rumours coming around of Partey for 50 mil and this player, Upamecano, for 60 mil. Listen, forget transfer rumours. You lot know me. You lot know what I'm about. Transfer rumours are the least of your worries, our worries. Arsenal Football Club's worries right now. There's contracts coming to an end. There's contracts that need to be renegotiated. There's players holding on to contracts when they should really let go. Take a look at the name in the title of this video. And yeah, a lot of people probably link the title of the video to my return and say, oh, you was probably just waiting for this. This is your agenda. Haven't done a video for over a month and you come back to talk about Ozil. In my honest opinion, I don't give a shit what people think. But I was always due to come back. I was actually going to do a video on the Aubameyang contract situation and the finances at Arsenal prior to the coronavirus. And during the past month or so, it just hasn't happened yet. And that is a video that I'll shortly be bringing out. One about Aubameyang's contract, maybe one about the potential for Champions League, the possibility for Champions League, with the news today about coefficient rankings, or rumours today about coefficient rankings being used to accommodate teams for the next Champions League, whenever that is to be. And that would mean Arsenal get in as the 4th highest team in England. In my opinion, it's just pulling on the heartstrings of Arsenal fans, as the media always tend to do, because we always jump at it, we always bite at it, and we always give them the retweets and views and shares that they crave. News and media outlets crave views, retweets, shares, people commenting under it, and the wilder the news story, the better for them. And generally, the more negative the news story, the better for them. So that's my opinions on the media quickly. And regarding Arsenal in general, like I said, over the last, month to 6 weeks since football's been locked down, there's been the Aubameyang contract situation. There's been transfer rumours here and there. Dead for me, something I'm not even going to bother discussing. And the possibility of Champions League. Aside from that, glad to see Arteta's back well, safe. Obviously, he was one of the first in the UK to come out and test positive for coronavirus. And it was at a pivotal time. It was a day before we were due to play Man City away. And a weekend and the week before, a full packed weekend schedule of fixtures at the Premier League co-signed, the government co-signed to go ahead. So Arteta coming out testing positive, and when you look at his interviews post coronavirus and how he feels when he's recovered, it's evident to me that he took it upon himself to make sure he was okay to manage and go to the game the next day. It wasn't a push from the league. It wasn't a push from the club. It was Arteta not feeling himself. Arteta listening to the news and symptoms and feeling that he might possibly have it. And in the end, like I said, it's a pivotal moment when we look back at this, that Arteta did come out and get himself tested. Testing is a whole other issue in itself, to be honest, but it's good that he did that. And yeah, here we are now with the latest news story. Another negative one, another one probably pulling at the Arsenal fan heartstrings a little bit. Another one that comes from a media outlet, a media source that I don't respect. I don't respect many of them, to be honest. But John Cross at the Daily Mirror, that name alone, I'm sure a lot of my subscribers know exactly what I mean when I say don't listen too much to the media. Don't listen too much to the media. But yeah, John Cross came out yesterday and he stated that 3 Arsenal players have rejected the 12.5% pay cut. Obviously, the pay cut coming from the hierarchy above, Arteta having to intervene at some point in those negotiations. But apparently 3 players have rejected it, and the name of one player in particular has come out. And lo and behold, it's the highest paid player at the club. Lo and behold, it is Mesut Ozil, the guy that should have been sold before he even signed that new contract. Let's be honest. Looking back now in hindsight, what a bad decision from the club. We've made many bad decisions over the years, many. Holding on to Wenger for so long was probably top of the pile. Potentially selling up to Kroenke is top of that pile. Wenger closely second, but Mesut Ozil's 350k contract is not far behind those decisions. It's handcuffed us for the last few years. It's not allowed us to push on the way we needed to push on. And mostly due to the fact he doesn't perform. Forget the wages for a sec. I wouldn't need to bring up wages if he was performing. Believe you me, I don't want to delve into wages and delve into the costs at Arsenal Football Club, the expenditure, the income. I don't want to have to do these things. But when finances have been so constrained over the last decade or so, open your eyes. If you don't delve into those things, then don't chat to me about them, because you don't know. You're coming from just an emotional standpoint. You're coming from a fanboy perspective, either of the club, either of Ozil, either of whoever it is. Me, I care about the club as a whole. I've loved this club a lot longer than Mesut Ozil has loved this club. Yeah? So it's about looking into why we are where we are right now financially. And if you don't believe Mesut Ozil's contract of 350k is part of that, then just switch the video off now. Switch the video off now, because this one ain't for you. This is for people that want to understand and want to learn about actually what's happening at the football club, the inner proceedings, the reality of it, the realness. So yeah, John Cross come out. It's interesting because first and foremost, I wonder who leaked Mesut Ozil to the media, to the news. Could it be the club? Could it be another player thinking, like, who does this guy think he is? Like, there's been a lot of debate around that, and I wouldn't be surprised either or. I mean, listen, Mesut Ozil is the highest paid player. He's one of the longest standing players at this club now, and he's one of the players that constantly says how much he loves Arsenal, how much he loves being here. He's been a captain at the club. He's one of the 5 captains, or whatever is going on with the captaincy situation. He was close to it at one point. But I want to touch on what Gary Neville said first and foremost regarding this matter. He said, and I quote, "The principle of not being together as a group is indefensible. You're a team on and off the pitch. I wouldn't like to be one of the 3 who hasn't agreed. It will alienate and isolate them from the rest." Now that gives us a strong argument for maybe one of his fellow colleagues, one of the other Arsenal players, exposing it. Maybe unknowingly, maybe telling someone who's then told somebody else and who's let it out the bag in that manner. But of course, put yourself in another player's shoes. If you're a group of 25 players, yeah, 22 of those players have agreed something. And they've agreed something with the emphasis on helping the club during this coronavirus. During a time when every business, every family, every person has been affected in some way, shape or form. And the highest paid player, the one that wants to be known as a leader, that loves the club, is one of the three rejecting that. And I wouldn't be surprised if the other two are his compatriots at the club. Let me say, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not going to dwell on any names right now because it wouldn't be fair. But I really wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised. But it'll be interesting to hear who the other two players are. I do want to know, because it's not all about Ozil. But even when the other two players do come out, Ozil still stands out like a sore thumb, because he's on 350k a week. A top 3 player in the league. One of the highest paid players in the world. And that's just his basic wage at Arsenal Football Club. Like, you have to take the offer, Ozil. You have to. You know, people are going to look at me and say, oh, an agenda. So it's not about an agenda. Because if you watch me on the live with Robbie about a week and a half ago talking about pay cuts and talking about Matt Hancock and how he stuck it on the Football League and the players to provide some sort of funding to the NHS, to the scheme, to support the network. And that was wrong. That was wrong, because Matt Hancock, there's bigger fish to fry. There's other people a lot richer than footballers in this country getting away with not doing much at all. Yeah, so he was cheeky for that. He was wrong for that. And he was rightfully called out by many people, including Piers Morgan. Yeah, including Piers Morgan, telling him he was wrong for doing that. There's billionaires all across the UK, and the focus should have been on them and should still be in some way, shape or form on them to do a bit more. But again, the government, politics, that's all another issue in itself. And I can delve into it some more. Obviously, it depends on what you lot want to hear from me. Like I said, let me know in the comments below. Hopefully, I'll get a live Q&A up and running soon. Hopefully, this is the first video of many more to come in the next few days, weeks and months ahead. Just bear with me, people. But just keep on telling me what you lot want to hear from me. And I didn't mention at the beginning, but I do appreciate a lot of messages I've got in the past month, asking if I'm all right, asking when I'm coming back, asking if everything's good. I appreciate it a lot. That's part of the reason why I have come back, to be honest with you. Because I'm still working. Like you lot all know, this YouTube thing is all like a hobby for me. It's on the side. I love talking about football. I love talking about Arsenal Football Club. So it is what it is. It just makes sense. I'm talking about Piers Morgan and how he rightfully so put it on Matt Hancock about highlighting footballers' wages and lack of funding. Here's what he had to say about Mesut Ozil yesterday, which blew up on Twitter, which blew up all over social media. He said, and I quote, "You don't want to do it. You want to see how the financial situation plays out while you sit on your backside on your PlayStation every night rather than playing football. Really?" And I can't lie to you. I didn't see much wrong with that. I didn't see much wrong with that. His delivery is a debate. We can debate whether his delivery was wrong, but we can always debate whether Piers Morgan's delivery is wrong. And don't get me wrong, he does talk a hell of a lot of shit sometimes. Sometimes his opinion makes me hate him. Sometimes his opinion makes me applaud him. All I know is he's a man that sticks by his opinion, whether you like it or not. And it's someone that, although at times, like I said, you can hate him, he can piss you off. At other times, he is on a major television network, giving it the real. And there's not enough realness on TV. There's not enough realness in the media. There's not enough realness in the celebrity, social media world, industry. So it's good to hear him putting it on the politicians, Matt Hancock, the other Secretary of State, and whoever else he's put it on over the last month or so, because he's right to do that. And I believe yesterday, his delivery might have been wrong. Maybe it was a bit harsh, but he's right to call out Mesut Ozil. Now, a lot of people are going to talk about the charity that Mesut Ozil does already. And listen, a lot of players do charity work. Like, it's part and parcel of being a celebrity. It's part and parcel of being a millionaire. It's part and parcel of making a lot of money. you give to charity. And first and foremost, I applaud Mesut Ozil and every other player doing that. Maybe Mesut Ozil more so than some others, because Mesut Ozil does seem to do a bit more than others. Sadio Mane seems to do a bit more than others. Didier Drogba seem to do a lot more than others. So there's players out there that do seem to do a lot more than others. Lionel Messi. I think before any team came out, Lionel Messi came out last month and said that a Barcelona team are taking a 70% pay cut to make sure all non-playing staff are paid 100% of their wages. That's a leader. That's a man. That's someone that cares. That's someone with a heart. That's someone that knows he's in a privileged position. So he did what he had to do. Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Espanyol, all agree a 70% pay cut for 3 months. Bayern Munich, 70%. Roma, 80%. And that's a lot shorter than the 12 months proposed by Arsenal. But it's a lot more money than the 12.5% asked by Arsenal. And I know a lot of people are going to try and do quick math. But when I look at it, I think our rough expenditure monthly on wages is about 5 million a month. Now, 12.5% of that is about 600 and something thousand. Something like that. Yeah, 600 and something thousand. Now, for a year, you roll that out over the year, you're going to make, what, 6-7 million? Something like that. Over 10 to 12 months, you're going to save on 6-7 million. Barcelona, Atletico, 70%. Bayern Munich, 70%. Roma, 8%. Off their wage bill for 3 months. I'm not even going to do the maths, but it probably equates to at least the same, if not a bit more than 6-7 million if you take the same 5 million wages per month. So at the end of the day, yes, there is differences, because I did see Robbie mention that to Lee Gunner yesterday on the live stream about Ozil. There is differences there, and yeah, he does do charity work, and like I said, that is a very good thing, but it's something that is part and parcel. I mean, look, this is from his agent, Dr. Erkut Sort, and it comes from September 2019, yeah? Mesut Ozil's agent, this is what he had to say. This is a quote. Go and search it online. The career span of a footballer is a maximum of 15 years, and on average 7 to 10 years. Yep, they earn a lot of money. So the question is, what do they do after their playing careers, which is what I help them prepare for. I spend a lot of time working towards that. Yeah, he spends a lot of time working towards the career post-football of his players. Yeah, this is an ex-lawyer for other sporting agents. He goes on to say, I also help them with social work. I ask them to give back to the sport, which has given them a lot. For example, with Mesut, we operate with 1,000 kids worldwide. It's one of the 50 projects with Mesut. Now, I'm not saying it's all their agents doing, but you can see that agent in particular, he's there to build a social brand. Salt is there to build his social brand, his social following, his career post-football. He's not there to find him another team. I think he's been his agent from, 2013? He's not there to find Ozil another team. And this is the pinnacle for Ozil right now. Yeah, Real Madrid was the pinnacle, but it's not getting any better than Arsenal right now. And I quote, September 2019, I spend a lot of time working towards that being his social following brand post-football. So that just shows that as much as the charity work is good, is positive, is necessary, yeah, don't think it's for no personal gain whatsoever. There's a lot of personal gain behind consistently promoting the charity work you do. Maybe Ozil promotes it more than another player. I don't see Mane promoting the charity work he does. I'm not saying Ozil does it all the time either, but Ozil is a lot more prominent in the media or prominent on social media than other players. So maybe Salt, who talks about social following and brand identity and all this stuff in that interview, maybe he's there for that reason. Did you ever think of that? Why do you need an agent if you fucking don't want to move clubs? Like, don't piss me off. Don't want to move clubs. You're raping the club for money already. It's long. Obviously, just looking through the notes I've taken. To talk... He also, we might as well stick on Salt, because there was this should have come a bit earlier on in the video, but there was a quote a few weeks ago of him saying deferral is an option, but not to agree a cut today when the clubs may still make the same profit as last year. What the exact financial impact is on the clubs, we can see in 3 to 6 months, but we can't see it today. Like, come on, it doesn't matter. You think people are getting let go from their jobs, people are going on 80% furlough schemes by choice. This is the impact it's having on the regular working folk. Yeah? The furlough is by force a 20% cut. Some people have been let go by force. There is no option for them. There is no plan B. There is no money to fall back on. 12.5% should have been the minimum. Don't worry about the profits of the club right now. The club are already tight. The club are already going backwards in the past 5 years. You just seen, every subscriber should have seen, we've made a loss in the last two. Well, it's gone down in the last 2 years, making a loss last year. The last financial year we made a loss. So what's this guy talking about? What's these things coming out about? We want to see where the club is in a year. So in a year, what, you're going to give back the money because we're not in a good financial position? Arsenal are not in a good financial position, full stop. Our wages are out of control, a lot down to this player in particular. So all of this talk about the same profit as last year, what are you talking about? Arsenal Football Club are a mess, financially and on the pitch. So all of this is just blowing smoke. It's just blowing smoke, and that's all it is. Obviously, the PFA advised against cuts, looking for deferrals instead. But when 23 out of the 25 or 26 players accept something, as the star man, as the highest earner, as the guy who's made the most money out of Arsenal Football Club in the last 6 years, footballing-wise, stand up and be the leader that you act like you are. But you're not. You're not. You're an actor, mate. The Premier League had a proposal where they said 20 million to charitable causes, advance of 125 million to the EFL National League, a 12-month 30% salary cut or deferral. Obviously, this is what Matt Hancock was dwelling on. This is what the media started pulling out to stick it on footballers. And in that debate, I am behind the footballers, because this ain't a vendetta. This ain't you're not. It shouldn't be going after their necks. You need to wait, see, analyse and see what happens. That Players for Together initiative, great initiative. The player cuts have to happen. It has to happen. Not only to support other charitable causes and whatever else, and not only to support the non-playing staff at the football club, but to make sure the football club can continue running in the manner at least it's been running in the last few years, and doesn't go backwards because of these few months. And if you don't accept it, you don't care about the club. That's how I see it. You don't care about the club, because 12.5% is nothing. Like I said, there's people getting let go. There's people going on furlough scheme, going on universal credit. All of this stuff, within the blink of an eye, within 2 weeks, their life has been changed upside down because of coronavirus and all of the impact. But I'm meant to allow Mesut Ozil because he gives to charity and he does this and that, building his... Listen, let me not go back on that. Let me just see what other notes I've wrote. Yeah, and regarding that offer, players were sceptical of the offer, apparently wanting to know more about where the money is going, what the board are doing about it and what their input is. And lo and behold, Arsenal Executive Committee, 14 members taking a 30% pay cut. And Kroenke, now this, I don't know whether to believe it or not yet until we see some figures, until we see factual evidence. I'm not sure, but apparently Kroenke is providing a cash injection to help us through this time, which is the least he can do because he doesn't provide cash injections anyway. You look at his tenure at Arsenal, forget being sole owner, look at the last decade. What has he given the club out of his own pocket? Not what the club has made. Out of his own pocket, what has he given the club? So it's good to hear, but let's see if it happens, and let's see how much it is, and let's see if it gets the job done. Because on the back end of this, we need to still fix what's going on at Arsenal Football Club. We tend to forget we are a mess. We tend to forget financially our hands are tied behind our back. The impact of this could be... It is worrying for me as an Arsenal fan. So we'll see. We'll see. And yeah, Arteta had to intervene. He had to intervene and he got most of the players round. I think he spoke to them and maybe told them a bit more about where the money's going, what it's for, and how it's going to help the club long term. He's had a tough time in the first few months, you know. I think that's a video in itself. I think that's another video I'll bring out, looking at Arteta's first, 3-4 months in charge, what he's had to deal with, the division between fan base and players, coronavirus lockdown, having coronavirus himself, Aubameyang's contract, Mesut Ozil's contract, left back injuries. It's all mad. It's all mad, people. But I think that's pretty much it for this video, man. I've been rambling on for about 25 minutes now. Need to make something to eat, so I'm gonna go do that. Like I said, let me know in the comments. I really need you lot to let me know in the comments what you lot want to hear from me. I told you lot a few months back now that I'll be doing boxing MMA. World has stopped, so that stopped. Top 6 show was coming back. The first couple weeks of March, it was due to get recorded, and then this happened. I got a show with troops coming. We were meant to record it the week lockdown started. We had the venue ready, everything ready. Lockdown happened. The rest is history. So hopefully these things are all still to come. But for now, tell me, what do you lot want to hear from me? What do you lot want to see from the channel? Continue adding me on Twitter, Instagram, TurkishLDN. LDN stands for London. Yeah, and until the next time, people, I'm out. Love, love, love.